right, we're going live. Okay. Say that again. The first question. Go ahead. We said we're going to be working on this for the next 3 days, so it's all good. You may be departed from class. You may leave. Not you. You need to stay extra, actually. You were not here. Huh? Okay. Do you currently have evidence? Can you check the front page of our website? That'd be my point. Look. Should. Let me see. I don't know if this is going to be. What's this? Oh. You answered the first 2 parts of the first question. I need more about what? More about the context in which and then go a little deeper on the second. But you get close. You're warm. Go ahead. Go ahead. You get open. It's showing that you see, it's showing you are healing. Maybe it's your connection. Maybe. We'll just leave it there. Something shows up. Okay, what about now? Refresh the page. Yeah, refresh. But I have a slow internet connection. That may why you're using the word. It's terrible. Well, that's what I'm using. Shouldn't be. That's that. Okay. As somebody go to my side? To the front page.
That was my last paragraph of the last chapter. So I put it was understanding so we can fire everything.
It's working. Okay, good. Thank you very much, sir. Let's see.
And it was the last paragraph. It was the last paragraph.
So it's really nothing.
It's not nothing at all. It's the end. So I mean,
Oh, no. Still not of it.
Isn't that like specifically in the chapter, in the last chapter, but I thought it was like including the thing. You didn't include it, he said it doesn't include it.
I will see. I'm gonna be harder on the group's decision. You know, so I'm trying to push the members to push it to the max. So when it comes to the group decision, it won't get any work to do. It's fine. So let's keep looking over it. We still got a few days here.
So there's like a deeper explanation chapter 8 about that.
It can be.
Actually, when I think of it as the whole book, I was thinking like
Yeah. Because if
it was the last paragraph.
yeah, so that would be like
Some emotional.
yeah.
But when I read it, you said that something in it, even in like a sentence,
Thank you.
rather than just completely.
Okay, so that could be the implied, the inference part of what he said. It could be a basic conclusion of bringing things to a conclusion, but also at the same time wanting the reader to think deeper by having an implied meaning. That's the other part of that question. What do you think implied means? So either one of them, you're going to go deep. You can either go deep with the implied meaning part, or you can go deep with the literal meaning part. Literal implied meanings.
Like meaning is basically it just means what's written.
Yeah. Yes.
And the other meaning is like the bigger picture.
Yes. The bigger picture. Or the bigger picture that is not obvious. Yes, but you're right. Yes. But then you gotta give it, you don't have anybody in your group, so you're gonna have to, bring it. Did you? You stopped, you told me, right? All right, let's bring it to a close here. Like I said, we're gonna be doing this project over the next 2 or 3 days. So you didn't have to get it all today.
When did we start actually doing it?
After I give you the thumbs up.
So don't bother getting material.
Nah. Like I said, this may be the defining project, or this may be the project that never got off the ground.
Do you have another lesson today?
No, we can. I'll look into it. Wait, okay. You talk me into it.
No, just that.
No. Let's see. What what we can work out. All right. Watch us, watch 12th grade presentation if you can. But of course, don't break any rules in class. It's not important. We had word that we will live in March 12th grade. 10th grade. Famous Why you didn't change that? Don't worry about it. Okay. All right, listen carefully. We are on. I don't know who you are. Okay. Doing stuff like that. Okay, so really high. All right.
انا عماله اقول واخد ازاي You're live in 5 minutes. You're live.
This is why I asked you to speak. Mr. Omar. Mr. Omar. You take a seat. Okay, if I can have your 12th grade presentation, YouTube, and there are some other people who would like to see the presentation. So we're going to allow those others the same comfort as we would ourselves by keeping the noise to a minimum. But when the presentation begins, I'm going to cut the noise out completely. Okay, so we're waiting on 12th grade. They arrived. Oh. Okay. I would like for you to give your 100% focus up front, please. 12th grade and their presentation on media manipulation.
Will you demonstrate our PowerPoint presentation?
Unfortunately.
Okay, fine. So we're 12th grade, yellow group. We came to present our topic, media manipulation. And I'm Amina. Here. And there we go. So stay focused, and if you have any questions, just raise your hand.
After we finish.
Yeah.
What is propaganda? Propaganda is an organized method to persuade people. It's like an organized process in order to persuade the people to think a certain point of view or opinion. Propaganda prospers in presenting various kinds of truths. That means there are like different kinds of truths. So that means that they have different kinds of truth. So there's no actual truth, but it's just a thing they want to tell people. And the most effective when modern propaganda presents information that is as precise as possible. Propaganda is not so much designed to alter thoughts or opinions. It's there to support an already existing opinion or thought. Being smart here with the media manipulation or propaganda is not necessarily the best defense you can have. Like the smart people have thoughts and opinions, so the information they're presented to, they're more tractable to the propaganda, so they take more of the information and they believe it more. Propaganda, all it seeks is modifying public opinion, specifically to make people obey the propagandist's point of view. That's a way of media manipulation. It's obvious media manipulation. Instruments of propaganda includes modern forms of communication. Without the mass media's monopoly, there can never be a modern propaganda. In order for you to break away from the propaganda, you should master its trickery and what it does in general. Propaganda started in the 20th century in USA, the World War I. That's when they wanted people to join them as soldiers to support the war that they were going through. And commercial attractions, advertising, and all that is the most common way of propaganda in today's society.
Okay, so why do media manipulate? It manipulates us and it censors everything because it either protects a person's privacy, it avoids graphic details and images, conceals security information and advancing corporate interests, or hides a political bias. So what you're seeing is the creation of a global oligopoly. Oligopoly, never mind. It happened to the oil and automotive industries way back, and now it's happening to the entertainment industry. So indirect political bias in all media contents comes along with growing corporate control and hyper-commercialism. That means the more a corporate advances, the more they'll want to control the public and force beliefs upon them. So, as George Orwell notes, censorship in free societies is infinitely more sophisticated and thorough than in dictatorships because unpopular ideas can be silenced and inconvenient facts kept dark without any need for an official ban. He said that in an unpublished introduction to Animal Farm. So censorship in media societies, modern societies, I mean, is the flow of information that rapidly accelerates there. And communication technology makes it possible to reveal nearly every a huge audience. As you can see that everyone goes along with mobiles and phones and tablets. So the internet makes it really rapid for media to conquer its beliefs upon us. So the dominant ideology, how the media manipulates. First of all, there's omission and suppression. The manipulation loiters in things left unmentioned. That means when omission or media censorship is the most widespread form of events and things left unmentioned, just know that these are the most important, that they are hiding from you. So the second step is lies. Only when omission and suppression are insufficient, mass media resort to lies. That's how it feeds a thought to you. The third step is labeling. Media prefigures people's perception of a specific subject. It forces its specific subject and how they view it on you. That makes you not think properly and just think it through. Yeah, you don't do that. So if you see that to Aaron, you have positive labels. That means they like this piece of information, so you should like it too. And negative labels, that means you just take care. You're gonna like it. So fourth piece of information and fourth label is face value transmission. That means to lie is to undertake official lies and pass them to the public without credible information. We can all see that right now, actually. You don't have credible information enough and sufficient enough to prove your point. That's why you stop questioning what is aired on TV. So the sixth step is false balancing. In good journalism, supposedly, journalists are supposed to compete and look at competing sources to acquire both sides of every issue. Yeah, that stopped happening a long time ago. They just go with what the authorities and people in authority wants to be fed to the people. They stopped airing every and both sides of each issue. All you see now is either negative or the positive side of a specific issue. So that's how it manipulates you. The seventh step is framing. It's basically bending and twisting of a piece of information. They acquire that by the amount of subjection, the placement of it, whether it's a headline or not, the presentation tone, whether the presenter is, whether or not he shows his sentiments or not, whether he's angry, he's calm, whether he likes it or not, and is it a headline or not, as I said, and the accompanying and auditory and visual effects. So
Okay, so the propaganda model consists of 5 elements or 5 stages or filters. These 5 stages or filters are decide whether something can be broadcasted on news or not. So the first is ownership. These are the wealthy people and the corporations and all those people. They own and control the ruling media. Like whether they want something to be broadcasted or not, they decide whether they want it. The second type is advertising. It's the media's most dependent funding source. Newspapers only get 70% of this from advertisements. Their income is from advertising things. Television gets over 95%, and all stations and networks try to sell advertisers on their programs. What advertisers want? This one, advertisers want not only a large audience, but the more money the audience has, the better. And the audience and the advertisers have to compete. They compete because they want their fundamental funding source. So they want to persuade people to get them so they can make money off of them. Some advertisers though they have like a straightforward condition or a direct condition. The example is Procter and Gamble. This is a big advertiser company, and they have a rule. So that rule is if the person is insulting or offending military or the business community in general, they don't allow them as one of their their programs or advertising. The third is sourcing. The media obviously needs more sourcing. They want authentic, uncostly ways to make news and show people news. And they get it from state departments, the local mayor's office, or police departments. The fourth is flack or negative feedback. This one, they produce negative, people can produce negative feedback and complain, but the media, it's not serious, you don't take them seriously. Those who are taken seriously are those that threaten them, like big corporations or big advertisers. Actually, some of the people who complain are actually the ones that supply them with news. The fifth is ideology. This one is an element most important in the propaganda model. And the idea of marketing and the media can do and control everything is on the ideological filter and the most proper way of resolving a problem. Ideologies are embedded in the system and they affect the media editors and how the media views the world and journalists.
Okay, so everyone can see how the media stupefies us. I mean, we're obviously all stupefied actually. The media transform us into submissive servants of obliviousness. We repeat after what they say and what they air on TV. So there's no wonder we all seem so ignorant as to what happens every day. We all say and repeat everything that actually happens, whether it's not true or not. I mean, you never know where's the actual truth side of it. So we allow the oligarchy, which is a group of people having control over a country or organization, to hide the threads and keys of democracy while we naively trail on the way to fascism. Fascism is absolute rule or dictatorship, and that is obviously seen in other countries worldwide that actually have control over the piece of information. So the elites have every control over all our demeanors of life, including the most essential thing for our reasoning, our brain, which can be seen in everyday life. So the concentration of the media is deleting thousands of independent opinions worldwide and every day. So through television, corporations and elite class direct and lure the public and their opinions on every subject that comes to mind. Whether it's an actual simple subject that has no meaning in life, they're going to lure you and they're going to force their belief on you. And whether or not you like it, you're just going to be manipulated. So because of that, many low and middle class people are forced to choose whether or not they want to be forced and manipulated. That can be seen in elections. Candidates, they air what they are and what they can do, but whether or not you actually have an independent opinion lies on your decision, okay? So because of this, and over time, we become robots and incapable of seeking the truth in the news. We have been all stupefied into believing everything we hear or see. So news is decided on the advertisers paying for spots and the basis of ratings, just as she said. The basis of rating, it decides whether or not this piece of information is going to be aired. So shows nowadays aren't even designed for our leisure or our enjoyment, but to conquer and attract many souls as possible so they can have their income from product consumption and advertisements. So these series and movies you see every day, they're not just plots that are made up. They have a specific belief that lure into your opinion, so they manipulate you into believing what they want you to believe. That's why after watching a movie, you become so into the movie that you call your friends and tell them to watch that movie and check it out and see whether or not they're going to like it. And you're going to actually force your belief on them, whether or not they like it or whether or not you like it or not. So even stars broadcast and air their lives to distract us from actual events, real world events. They keep our minds occupied in a way as they can get from information that might actually awake our dozing conscious, just like I said earlier. So the actual important news is given extremely minor insights. As you can see, it's lured within actual minor pieces of information that wouldn't even help you with anything. So through these diverse channels, we see the same exact headlines everywhere. As you can see, if you change the channels, it's the same exact headlines. So the news and stories that have no relevance or importance whatsoever are played numerous times so they can stupefy a nation into oblivion and ignorance. So as an expected result, democracy stumbles and begins to vanish. So the media destroys people's power of asking why and how does that happen, and from where did that piece of information come from. They just completely stumble on your opinion.
Okay, so this is a way, psychological ways that the media manipulates people. This is written by the Flowers in a way to portray to people what they feel. The first is guilt by association. This one, in order to destroy a person's being or character, they connect them with organizations, law-breaking people, so they can break them down, and so they can make people look like they're the bad ones. No, and in mass media, they reject that person. If they're associated with something, the mass media rejects. The second one is they add just like a little poison. This one is a media. They try to manipulate people's minds through another strategy, which is called dissimilitude. This one means a statement that scenario seems true. It means that it's a specific thing that's similar to something else, but it's not really. It's just they're making people see, making them look like this is the truth, but there's nothing that has to do with anything. And the third one is making it funny. This one you see it in the newspapers, like those comments of they look like one guy looks like a donkey and the other looks like an elephant. Those ways to make people make it seem funny and to attract people and showing them that this person is bad or this person is good. It's like that's what they do. The fourth one is making sandwiches. It's not actual sandwiches. This is a technique in building a self-esteem in people. This shows like that if you respect the person, it will be easier for them to accept your ideas. So they act like they're nice to them or that they respect their ideas or their opinions, but it's actually the opposite. And they're actually that's a way for them to manipulate them.
So the fifth one is stacking the experts. That means that on TV, intellectuals and journalists are being chosen carefully and specifically so they can bring out and represent a piece of information and a specific side that they want to portray. The sixth step is ridicule and labeling. Just as she said, it's shown in columns, newspaper columns, and caricature, you know that, and it applies labels on person, so that we could polarize and make us look like we're actually a part of a dangerous organization, which we're not. So it's also known as character assassination. The seventh one is repetition makes true. Just like any channel on TV, the more headlines you see, which is basically on every channel, you think that it's true and it's actually happening, but it's not. I mean, they repeat it so they could convince you of that actual piece of information, but it's not. So a specific lie registers as an actual true piece of information. Mass hysteria is created by repeatedly repeating the dangers of something, and by persuading us in someone something. All you have to do is repeat and add emotion. That's what they do. And we actually give in. So the eighth one is make the devil look like God and God like the devil. That means by the skillful and sustained use of propaganda, one can make people see even heaven as hell, or as extremely wretched life as paradise. So the attacker in this technique makes himself look like a savior, so people could choose a side. So yeah, that was all. I hope you guys understood everything. So any questions? No? Do you at least get what we said?
Yeah.